Okay, we have three filters here. AmsOil, FLA20 factory Motorcraft filter, and then a Ford Racing Performance Parts filter. The AmsOil filter is a EA011, 25,000 mile rated filter. The FLA20 is a manufacturer filter. No specified rating on it, but could probably safely go 10-15,000 miles. The Ford Racing Performance filter as well, no specified rating. This is a $15 filter. This is about a $7 filter. If you buy it at Walmart, it's like a $3 filter. This you can get from $18 to $27. Now, if you notice right off the bat, you put these flat on a surface. The AmsOil filter and the factory filter are very similar in height, similar in shape. But if you look at the Ford Racing Performance filter, which is the same class, filters at 99%, 20 micron rating, just like the others. It's a little taller. If you look at the gasket here, it looks like a standard oil filter gasket. If you look at the factory Ford filter, it looks like a standard gasket. Now, if you look at the Ford Racing Performance part, it's quite a bit different. It's got a very slick sheen to it, feel to it. It feels like it's substantially better. It almost has no springback to it at all. So it's a very solid gasket. And I feel like it's probably superior to the other two just by the way it looks and feels. And probably what you're paying for it indicates some of that as well. If you look down the center of this compared to the factory gasket, they look very similar. You see it's got the blue O-ring up top. It's got a second black O-ring there. If you look further down, it looks like there's almost a second diaphragm or O-ring down in there, kind of on an angle. Look at the factory one. It's got the same type of design. It's got a upper O-ring, a lower O-ring, and it's lighter. Anti-feedback diaphragm in it. This one has an anti-feedback diaphragm as well. But if you look at the factory one, it doesn't look like the diaphragm is quite, I don't know if I'm just looking at it weird, just from a glance. It's got more holes on the top. Seems like maybe it would be a little higher flow rate, just like it's listed on the description of it. And it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 holes in it. 22 millimeter it says. This here has 6 holes, and the diaphragm, I don't know, it might be the same. This is heavy. It looks like it's deeper. If you look at like on an angle where the holes go in, it's much deeper. This is more shallow, like half the depth. These holes right here. Now let's look at the AmsOil one. It's got an anti-feedback diaphragm. It much more open inside. The AmsOil is probably closer to a factory filter than most of the ones I've seen. Can I really say anything right off the bat? Like, does it look better? It doesn't. Honestly, right off the bat, the Ford Racing one probably looks quite a bit better than both of these, just for the simple fact that it seems like it has some better components. You're paying more for it, and it feels like it's got a lot of media in here. So we're gonna make some cringe-worthy content right now, and we're gonna cut all these open. Yes, this is I don't know, $40 worth of oil filters here. If you know, with this being, you can get as low as like 17, 18 bucks, 16 bucks, I think some people said. I seen it on Ford Racing's website for 18. This one's a $15 filter, and this one's at the dealer probably $6, $7 filter. You can get it at Walmart for like, you know, $4 or something like that. So let's just call it $40 worth of filters here. Let's cut the tops of them off and look and see what's going on inside. Cringe-worthy, right? more like a paper style design. It's really nice actually. It's got a really thick texture like to it. So that is it's definitely a positive there. It's really thick material. Looks like it's very, very, very durable. Let's go to the next filter. Oh, I forgot to show you inside. And this is what we're looking at here. Oh, on to the next one. Factory Ford filter. So far, what I have to say is I like the diaphragm from the Ford better. It keeps it raised up off of the sealing surface of where it's at. Let's put the... I think anyway, I'm not sure yet. I'm still... I feel like where it sits here, it's got more room for oil to flow in, and it's got the little nubs on the bottom to actually create that gap, that space. I don't know for sure though. If you look from the side, I don't know if you'll be able to pick it up on camera. It looks like where that sits and where this mounts, where this part right here mounts, it will allow oil to flow back. Yeah, seems like it will allow it to push forward, the oil to flow in, and those little spots will stop it from crushing all the way and allow oil to flow in the little portholes. No, the exterior. So the exterior and then up through. And then if the media gets plugged up, the spring will bypass, push up, and allow oil back out. So when it's in there, that's compressed. And then it will raise up. Once it raises up, it allows it to bypass, and then let's see here. It seems like the factory Ford filter has a longer pleat. It's got more surface area, where the AmsOil one has a better material. Try to make it fair here. So this one, the factory one, is taller. It's got more surface area just by a little bit up top. But it feels like the material here would be a better material on the AmsOil one. It's a more expensive filter, right? And I like this diaphragm better. I don't know why. Something tells me that this would be more of a, if it was to collapse or something, it would, the reason they put those there is to stop something from plugging up or allowing something to flow, as opposed to this one. It'll allow it in, but it's just so flimsy. They're really, both of them are flimsy, but I really like this material better. The factory one almost feels like it's stronger. It's got more ridges in it. It's got more design to it to allow for texture and adhering to constant use. I don't know. These are just my initial thoughts. I'm by no means an oil filter expert. This is just super, super flimsy. Maybe that's the purpose behind it. Maybe there's, but this here, it seems like when it would go to flex as oil was going in, it would stop after a certain amount and maybe restrict a certain amount of flow. Maybe it's more of a controlled flow. That's why they're there. To where this one, if oil was being pushed past it, it's really flimsy. It would allow a lot of oil through in an uncontrolled manner, other than, just whatever the flow of the pump would be, and it would. Maybe I'm overthinking this. I do think that their whole check valve here is it's a more expensive filter. So again, you're paying for what you get. It's a nicer design. So this would sit on top of that. And you can see when it bypasses, it opens up and lets it in through the center. As to where this one, if it bypasses, it's like more, it's cheaper. It doesn't operate the same way. No, It's clearly a better filter. The AmsOil filter is clearly better. This does have a little bit more surface area for filtering. I do like the diaphragm better. I don't like the check valve better. So it's kind of a little bit of a trade-off between the two. I think clearly the AmsOil is a better filter. The exterior O-ring, the AmsOil is a little bit thicker. Feels like the factory one's a little firmer. Maybe this is because it's more surface. So before we move on to the Ford Racing one, this is really flimsy. This one has quite a bit more strength to it and thickness. So the AmsOil one is really, I'm having to push that pretty hard to get it to move like that compared to this one. It's super, super easy. If I did that one the same way, it doesn't flex nowhere near as much. So the AmsOil, this can overall is a better quality can compared to the factory. Now we move on to the Ford Racing one. I know you guys are like, what the hell is he doing? Well, guess what? I'm doing it. It's channel worthy. I'd rather do this where I can actually handle everything clean than put it on a vehicle and get stuff all over the place and not be as comfortable with breaking it all down. So there's those two so far. Let's do this one now. I'm trying not to edit anything as much as possible, just for the simple fact I don't want you guys to think that I'm leaving stuff out or I'm you know, lying to you about anything. So far we have a thicker gasket on the AmsOil one, a thicker exterior can on the AmsOil one. We have a better filter in the AmsOil pleat area. The Ford one is a little taller. I like the Ford anti-feedback diaphragm better. I don't know why. I just feel like it feels like it's stronger material. It feels like it's supported better. On the outside, unless I actually had a scale, they're very comparable weight-wise. If I see the Ford holes are much bigger for oil to flow, where these are smaller. Let's try to line them up. It seems like there would be more oil allowed in under a high rate in this one versus smaller rate. So maybe that's why they make the diaphragm on the AmsOil one smaller or more flimsy, so more can flow in, versus the factory Ford one.
You did tell me he was experiencing some problems because he has the push start ones.
You guys ready to cringe? Ooh. This one's thicker and more oily, like it's got a more lubricant like feel to it. This one is way bigger than both of them then. I feel like maybe this is where all the weight's coming from, is this part right here. It's super heavy compared to the other two, and it's twice the thickness. So this one has more pleats and longer than the AmsOil one and the factory. So this is even taller, and it's got more pleats. I think this is a better material. It's more like a fiber type, paper type, really heavy, thick. This is it's got a lot more pleats than both of them. And if you look at the end, it's completely sealed all the way around with that resin. And there's not a lot of flex to the pleats at all. It's like they've got a flex, some flex in the middle, but up at the top and stuff, minimal compared to this one. I guess it does too. And it's got that resin type in the top as well, where it locks it in. And in the bottom. But it's not completely covered all the way around. Or this one is filled. I mean, it's quite a bit different with that resin. It's just filled all the way around as much as it possibly can. So more pleats, taller, more filtering capability. So I can see why they say it filters up to 50% more efficient. It's got the same diaphragm as the factory one. Okay, so of the three, let's see here. That's got like the thickness of the AmsOil. So at face value, if I had to give these, let's see here. Let's put this filter back over here on its base. That base snaps into that. That goes there. This goes here. That goes right there. This one goes over here. No, that doesn't go there. That goes over here. Then this one goes here. And this goes here. This goes here. That goes on that one. That goes on that one. No, that goes there, that goes here. All right. All right, so let's break it down. This one has more surface area to filter. It's got pleats from the top to the bottom. It's the tallest one of the group. It has the same diaphragm as the factory one. This metal end here is much, much thicker. I don't know if that's supposed to mean that they're giving it more more room for more capacity to flow through because the holes are much wider. It's a deeper end. It's got a better gasket than both of these other ones. This one here is a little bit taller than that one filtering wise, but the material is not as nice as that one. So I think of the whole group here, that one, the AmsOil, has better filter overall, the quality of it. I like the bypass valve. It's a spring-loaded valve with a double hook underneath and a spring in the center, so it will actually, seems like it's a more controlled, let me know what you guys think on that. It seems like it's a more controlled, more safer bypass valve. Not in the aspect that it's unsafe, but just a better quality bypass valve than both of these. I'm not an oil filter nut. This is more for the review of my initial thoughts on exactly what this is. I find the can is very strong. This can is very strong. This one's a little flimsy. If I had to honestly break all this down and tell you which one I would buy the factory filter. I would not buy the AmsOil filter, and I would not buy the Ford Racing filter. It seems like for the extra $10 to go this route and the extra $10 to $12 to go this route, this is pretty good. This is pretty high quality. I change my stuff and I care about my vehicle enough to know that it needs to be serviced, so I'm not going to let it go until this is destroyed or completely plugged up. Is the factory filter better overall? Best bang for your buck? 100%. The factory filter is the best option out of these three. Best bang for your buck. If I had to go to the next best filter based on quality of filtration, I would probably say the AmsOil one is a better filter overall. If I had to go for short use, high volume based on capacity and filtering content, I would say the Ford Racing one. It's got a longer pleat, it's got more pleats, it's got bigger holes, it looks like it can sustain more volume, and it looks like it's for racing. It's 50% more efficient than a factory filter, and it filters at a 99.9% micron rating. When this one's tested, you can find independent testing that says it filters at 93.7% at at 93.7% at 20 micron rating, only giving this one about a 5% increase. This one here seems like it's better quality overall filtration wise and bypass valve wise, but the rest of it doesn't actually compare all that well to say that the AmsOil filter is actually a better filter here. If I was going to race, this would be my one. If I was going to go super, super long extended oil change intervals, 25,000 mile rated filter, this would be the one here. If I just want a good standard filter to where I know I'm going to actually do like a 5 to 10,000 mile oil change, best bang for your buck right here. The manufacturer filter beats out both of these filters overall in my common sense aspect of what I would buy. I can go to Walmart and get this filter for $3 to $4. I can order this online for $18, and I can order this online for $15. What am I doing? I would do the factory filter. Factory filter seems like it's the best option overall. Seems like it's great quality. It doesn't have all the fancy bells and whistles this 25,000 mile filter is rated for, but that's the reason why it's rated for 25,000 miles is because they have to build that technology in there to get that 25,000 miles in case something should happen. The Ford Racing filter seems like it has better ports, oil flow quality, what it can sustain oil-wise because of the extra capacity and the number of pleats, but I'm not going to the racetrack every day with my Lincoln Town Car. Back to the manufacturer filter. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching. If I'm going to try to milk every single mile out of my oil and I'm wanting to go this 15 to 25,000 miles, I would buy the AmsOil. If I'm wanting to go racing and I'm worried about filtering capacity plus efficiency, I'm going to buy the Ford Racing filter because that's what it's designed for. But if I'm worried about general maintenance, high quality, doing its job, and getting good results and protecting my motor, I'm actually going to go with the Motorcraft FLA 20 factory standard filter. This is the best bang for your buck. Thank you.